Now, should you ever find yourself in the little town of Kilmallock, County Limerick, you know, you might think to visit the ruins of the Abbey of Kilmallock. And if you were to walk down what was once the centre aisle of the church, you will find embedded in the soil 3 stone slabs, all that remains of the once stately tomb of Sir Maurice Fitzgerald, known to his contemporaries as the White Knight. Now, the White Knight, who was called this by virtue of the unusually light-coloured armour he wore, was a hard man, fierce in battle, and the lord of vast tracts of land surrounding his castle in County Cork. Yes, they say I'm a hard man, but I say I had to be. I had to conquer this land. No one gave it to me. And there be many who tried to take it from me. The O'Rourke's for one. O'Rourke. Just give them diddles half a chance, and they swoop down upon us, killing every Fitzgerald down to the last babe in his mother's arms. But where's Daisy? That will never happen. Not so long as I'm alive. And when the good Lord calls me to my rest, me kinsman will remain safe in the hands of my son Edmund. And so it will follow, from my son to his son, and from his son to his son, to the end of time. Edmund Fitzgerald, however, was a man of a very different sort, for he was a dreamer of great dreams, a romantic to the very marrow of his bones, one better suited to be a poet than a warrior, rather than spend his hours improving his skill with sword and lance. Edmund spent his days riding out into the furthest reaches of his father's domain, glorying in the natural splendor of the Irish countryside. And so it was that one day, towards the end of the day, he found himself lost in an unfamiliar part of the Kilworth Mountains. Without warning, his horse reared, almost throwing him to the ground. There, standing before him, was a withered old woman, dressed entirely in black. Who are you? Do you not know me, Edmund Fitzgerald? No. I ask you again, who are you? And how do you know my name?
Surely you know who I am, Edmund, son of the White Knight. Everyone knows the witch of Kilworth.
What do you want of me?
I've come to give ye a great gift. Follow me, and I'll show ye something wonderful.
I will not follow you. I am a faithful son of Holy Mother the Church, and will not traffic in works of the devil.
Fear not, young sir, for my powers come not from Satan, but from God. Follow me, and I give you word, nothing ill shall harm you.
Then, without saying another word, the old woman turned and walked slowly off into the distance, as if in a trance. Edmund followed her deep into an ever-darkening wood. On they went, till at last they emerged from the wood into a lush green meadow, which led to a high stone cliff in which appeared an impenetrably dark cavern filled with flickering lights.
I told you, I would show you something wonderful.
What are they?
What else would they be? They be the candles of fate,
that they were indeed candles. Thousands upon thousands of candles floating in the darkness. Some were tall and clean, burning with all the intensity of youth. Others were shorter, caked with the soot of decades. While some were so short, they seemed on the verge of guttering, burning out completely, their flames leaping about wildly, as if attempting to catch one last feeble breath. Behold! The candles of fate. There be one candle for every man, woman, and child who breathes upon this earth. So long as his candle burns, that man shall live. But when the last drop of wax is being consumed, and when the wick issues forth its last glimmer of light, that man shall die. Would you be wanting to see your candle? Edmund was afraid to speak. Fear ye not, young man, for this be your candle, she said, pointing to a tall candle that was not even a quarter of the way spent. And as you can see, you will live to become a very old man. Thanks be to God. Now a wise man would be wanting to know how he'd be spending his days, in years of happiness or in tears of sorrow. Behold! Behold your destiny! The cavern vanished, and in its place appeared a vista unlike anything Edmund had ever seen before. Beneath a blood-red sunset, there appeared a vast stand of towering pines, their branches reaching cathedral-like to the heavens, and sheltered beneath them a great stone abbey, guarded by a strong oaken door. The door opened, and from within emerged the most beautiful woman Edmund had ever seen in his entire life. Even by the gloaming, he could perceive every exquisite detail of her almost perfect face and form, her hair glimmering, her white silken gown flowing in the evening breeze. And when he gazed into her soft, soulful eyes, he felt as if he'd somehow known her before, known her for centuries, known her from the time before time, and that he would know her again. She smiled, as if somehow hearing his unspoken thoughts. She reached out her arms to him, beckoning him to her embrace. Edmund ran to meet her, and just as they were about to touch, the vision melted away. Edmund Fitzgerald, she is your destiny. Find her, embrace her, love her, if ye have the courage. But where shall I find her? Look deep within your heart and find the courage to follow wherever it may lead you. And then, as quickly as she had appeared, the old woman vanished into the evening mist. Yeah. From that moment, the memory of all that had occurred consumed Edmund's days and haunted his nights, and the vision of a woman beautiful beyond words seemed always before him. Day after day, he scoured the countryside, searching for the abbey he'd seen in his vision, all to no avail. Week after week, month after month, he continued to search, but always his goal eluded him. Till one crisp spring morning, Edmund found himself in a lush green meadow, and off in the distance, he saw a thick stand of pines, and sheltered before them a grey stone abbey guarded by a strong oaken door. The Abbey of Kilmallock. His heart pounding, Edmund raced to the abbey. Every instinct told him to charge the entrance, to search every room, every nook and cranny, until at last he found the beautiful woman who had for so long haunted his dreams. But then he thought better of his plan. Something told him he must wait just a little longer, pray that God would send him a sign, guide the last steps of his quest. He hid a short distance from the abbey and waited. Hour after hour he waited, till just as the sun rose to its zenith, the great oaken door opened, and from within emerged a beautiful woman. The same beautiful woman he had seen in his vision. Edmund could hardly breathe as she slowly made her way down the meadow, and then taking care that he not do anything that might frighten her, Edmund slowly made his way to her. And at last he spoke. I hope you do not think me too bold, lady, but I have to speak with you. I know this will sound strange, perhaps even mad, but although I've only at last seen you in corporal form, I once beheld you in a fantastic vision, and I've been searching for you ever since. You must think me mad. Oh no, my lord, she answered, for I too have had a vision, and in my vision I saw a young man standing in a meadow before a cavern filled with flickering lights, and I heard a voice, the voice of an old woman who said, behold, behold your destiny. And the man I saw was you. And ever since I've been praying that our good Lord would send you to me. And as is the case, when kindred spirits find one another, time seemed to stand still, and before they knew it, the sun had crossed the heavens and was setting beneath the horizon, turning the sky a crimson red. As he was about to leave, Edmund realized he'd forgotten to ask his beautiful companion her name. Elgiva, she answered. Elgiva O'Rourke? O'Rourke? Edmund repeated, hoping against hope. He had somehow misheard. Surely this vision of loveliness could not be an O'Rourke. Yes, Elgiva O'Rourke. My father was Prince Breffni. Prince Breffni was Edmund's father's most hated enemy. But then, you haven't told me your name. Edmund. Just call me Edmund. And so it was that day after day, week after week, Edmund Fitzgerald met with the beautiful Elgiva O'Rourke in the seclusion of the meadow below Kilmallock Abbey. And week after week, month after month, he avoided telling her the horrible truth, which he knew stood between their happiness, till one day he could avoid it no longer. There is a secret, horrible beyond words, which I have been keeping from you, and which I may keep from you no longer. And when I have told you what I must, you will wish that you'd never laid eyes upon me. There's nothing you could ever say that could change the way I've come to feel about you. Whatever it is, we'll see it through together. Edmund reached out. He took her hand from his. A single tear fell from his eyes and he started to speak. I love you more than life itself, and I shall never love anyone but you. But it can never be. For I am Edmund Fitzgerald, son of the White Knight. For a moment, Elgiva could not speak. And slowly, she raised his hands to her lips and kissed them. An act that was as much a sacrament as a kiss, absolving them both and freeing them both from the sins of their father. And in that moment, they became bound to each other for eternity. There could be no other choice. They would be married in secret, then flee to some distant land where they might live free from the hatred which had for so long consumed their families. And so it was that under the cover of night, the two lovers knelt before the altar in the Abbey of Kilmallock and exchanged their vows. Just as the priest was about to bless their union, his face turned ashen, his body paralyzed with fear. Looming above them was a tall figure shrouded within a thick woolen cape, his head hidden deep within the folds of its voluminous hood. Moonlight glinted off the blade of the double-handed broadsword which he held aloft and plunged into Edmund's bride. With the cry of a wounded animal, Edmund spun around, preparing to respond with a savage blow. The hood fell back, revealing the face of his own father. Edmund fell to his knees. He cradled Elgiva's lifeless body in his arms, his tears flowing down upon her, mingling with her blood. Get up, boy! Get up, I say! You shame yourself. You cry like a woman. No son of mine shall ever shed tears for an Aurora. Edmund pressed Elgiva closer to his breast, as if by sheer power of will he might force the life back into her. And slowly, he looked back to his father. I curse you. I curse you. I curse you. From this night on, you have no son. From this night on, you shall come to know the full measure of sorrow. One day, you will weep for what you have done here. You will weep and weep and weep, even unto death. I wish I were undone to him. 'Tis there I see and cry like him. Now every tear would turn again. Is the day to glory and sun? Sure, lover, sure, goes to crush you. Sure, the day endures all sight. Is the day to the far ends gone? I wish in vain. I wish I had my love again, and vainly think I'll not complain. Is the day to a far ends gone? I work on yonder hill. 'Tis there I sit and cry my fill, till every tear would turn the mill. It's gone to take to a party slum. Did come to Morris Fitzgerald. Prince Brevany and the O'Rourke's swept down upon him. And although the White Knight was able to withstand their onslaught, both sides sustained heavy losses. Edmund? He never spoke to his father again. When years later the old knight died, he was laid to rest in Kilmallock Abbey, in a tomb befitting his rank, surmounted by a carved stone effigy of the White Knight lying in state. Shortly after the tomb was completed, a passerby noticed something strange. Small drops of water appeared on the White Knight's effigy. Small drops which looked like tears. Even on the hottest, driest days, the tears flowed from the stone. For centuries, the strange phenomena continued. Perhaps Edmund's curse had been effective after all. Perhaps now in death, the White Knight wept over the rash act he had committed so many years ago. Then one day, a soldier appeared who had dreamed several nights in a row that a great treasure lay hidden within the White Knight's tomb. Overcome by greed, he broke into the tomb, smashing the stones asunder. He found no treasure, only bones, a pair of spurs, a sword, and the rusting remains of the White Knight's once proud armor. Today, all that remains of Morris Fitzgerald's splendid tomb are 3 stone slabs. Stones which, as I have seen for myself, still, to this very day, weep tears of regret.